violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
Breaking overnight, armed robbers stormed a 7-Eleven in Philadelphia, ripping 2 cash registers right out of the store. The holdup happened on the 5200 block of Oxford Avenue in the city's Frankfurt section just before 1 a.m. Police say the trio threatened clerks with rifles, then ran off, hauling the machines with them.
Wow. So this happened at 1 a.m. At least they had the decency to do it in the night, where there will be minimal casualties. So, you know, those are your super gremlins taking consideration for, you know, your late night snacking tendencies. But anyways, I predict that Philadelphia is going to have more than 700 murders this year, just by the pace that it's going. And I've got more stories for you guys. But if they're doing robberies every night, the odds of all of these robberies just miraculously ending with nobody getting hurt is slim. You know what I mean? So it's finna get ugly in Philly, man. I advise anybody who has the ability to get far away from there.
No one in the store was physically hurt.
New this morning, a woman is fighting for her life. She was shot multiple times outside of a bar in Philadelphia's Mayfair section. At least 14 shots were fired at Torresdale Avenue and Bly Street just before 10:30 last night.
Women, children, nobody is off limits in the streets. And this is what they're protecting when they say no snitching. This is what they're protecting. Guys who blatantly just go out here and kill women and children outside of bars for no apparent reason. Probably targeting someone else. Maybe, maybe not. But that many shots, I mean, really?
14 shots were fired at Torresdale Mayfair section. At least 14 shots were fired at Torresdale Avenue and Bly Street just before 10:30 last night. Police say the 63-year-old victim was in the bar prior to the shooting. They're interviewing staff and taking a look at surveillance tape in search of a suspect and a motive. The woman, for now, is in critical condition.
Wow, man. I mean, these super gremlins, bro, they have no heart. They just shoot indiscriminately into a bar. They probably were told to leave, maybe got kicked out. So if you see a super gremlin get kicked out of a bar or a club, either you want to get in the very back of that bar or club, I mean quickly, or just go ahead and leave and try not to be in the front when they spin back around.
The bar shooting capped off an already violent night in the city. Police responded to 3 separate homicide scenes with a total of 4 people killed. So far in 2022, Philadelphia has recorded 17 homicides. This time last year, the city had 11 homicides.
17 homicides. And what? We're not even 20 days into 2022. I mean, think about that. We're not even 17 days into 2022. Philly is about to explode. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it just becomes, I don't even know, like, just straight wasteland. Like on some, what's that movie with Will Smith and the little zombies or whatever? I forget the movie name, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Woo! It's gonna be crazy, bro.
And as you know, last year went on to become the deadliest year on record.
Bit more than 1 week into the new year, and the horrific violence in the city of Philadelphia is showing no sign of slowing down. Just tonight, at least 5 teenagers were shot over the course of 3 hours. One of the young victims was killed. Action News reporter Katie Catro joins us live from police.
Wow. 5 teenagers shot, and in the last clip, she said it was the deadliest year on record. I want to make you guys aware. I really need to make you guys aware that super gremlins take pride in that. Yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, Philadelphia is the illest city because, like, we really recorded the most murders ever. Like, we really did that. 2021. Let's see what 20. Like, you got to understand that they take pride in that. So, I mean, take what you want from that. But this is where the community is going, bro. It's wild.
Headquarters with details. Katie.
And Walter, police say it's especially frustrating when the bloodshed in the city involves young people.
It's a tragic circumstance anytime anyone is murdered. Certainly all the more so when you have someone who's cut down in the prime of life, in this particular case, a 17-year-old male who had his whole life in front of him.
Philadelphia police say a 17-year-old boy was killed before 5:30 tonight on East Washington Lane and Gardenia Street. Police say he was with 2 other men at the scene when at least one of the men pulled out a gun and shot him at least 4 times. Just minutes earlier on the 1800 block of McKellen Street, a double shooting. Police say a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old who are friends were walking to a store when they were shot. The 19-year-old is listed in extremely critical condition.
And I wouldn't be surprised if the people that shot them were also very young. It's a lot of beef going on the internet, and it's just moving so fast. Responses like back and forth. I'm gonna do this to you. I'm gonna do that to you. I'm gonna catch you lacking. Da 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 da. Don't get caught slipping. It's going back and forth so fast, and it's almost impossible to solve.
It is even more tragic when the victim is a young person who has to carry this trauma with them for the rest of their life. So it is, of course, very frustrating.
Shortly after 6:30 p.m. on the 2000 block of East Orleans Street, a road rage shooting left a 17-year-old in extremely critical condition. Police say the teen was helping a man in his 20s fix a car. They had left a safety cone in the street. That's when passengers in a vehicle that couldn't get by got frustrated, and an argument escalated to gunfire.
Wow. And that's how quickly it can pop off in Philly. Everyone's on edge. And, you know, you're just trying to help somebody fix their car. And somebody is bugging, honking the horn, screaming at you, yelling all types of obscenities at you. And he's a super gremlin. And then you're a super gremlin too, and you want to make sure, hey man, you want to make sure that he's not, you know, getting the one up on you. Like, you want to make sure that he's not gonna play you like you ain't about that too. So you're pretty much in a dick measuring contest with another guy to see who's bad or to see who's harder, and it escalates into what the Boondocks call a nigga moment.
You have an altercation over a cone that is obstructing a roadway, and for that to turn into a fist fight and to turn into a shooting where now we have a 17-year-old who's fighting for his life is just completely senseless and completely stupid.
And Walter, we just got an update from police that 19-year-old teenage boy who was listed in critical condition, shot on McKellum Street, has just died. It has certainly been a very tough night for not only police, but for families involved in this situation as well. I also want to update you on one more shooting that we recently got word of. This also involves a teenager, a 19-year-old who...
Guys, Philadelphia is so active when it comes to the streets. that the reporters do live, they're doing live reporting, and then they're getting live updates of other shootings going on across the city. Demon time.
Families involved in this situation as well. I also want to update you on one more shooting that we recently got word of. This is also involves a teenager, a 19-year-old who was shot at 9th and Lindley this afternoon. He is listed in stable condition. I'm live here at police headquarters. Katie Catro for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Walter.
All right, thank you, Katie.
This story is breaking overnight. A driver pulled out a gun and shot a would-be carjacker in the city's Fairmount section, and it was just one of 3 separate carjacking attempts that Philadelphia police are investigating from overnight. Action News reporter Corey Davis is live at the scene along North 17th Street. Corey, you spoke exclusively with this victim a short time ago. This is a growing problem.
Yeah, Tam, and it was a scary.
No, honey. It's a grown problem. It's not a growing problem. This problem is a full-grown man. This problem is a full-grown 6'2", 185-pound super gremlin.
Scary situation for that victim. He says he had to make the decision while he was sitting in his car. He made the decision to shoot first after he saw the suspect with a gun. Take a listen to how he describes how it all played out.
I saw the gun. I thought he was going to shoot me and just take the car. So I retaliated as fast as I could, and just to see another day.
Wow. So these Uber drivers, these Lyft drivers, they're fighting for their lives out here. They're fighting for their lives out here. And it's sad because you're a black man, and then you pick up a super gremlin. And a lot of times what I've told you guys is that people will... they'll lure you in, trying to jack your car. They'll send somebody else to send the Uber for you and then put it in a weird location. I know this because I used to drive Uber and Lyft, and they will literally ambush you. Okay, so unless you understand the game or you're in a very safe area, you can really get finessed. And it's an easy way for these people to carjack. So I think Uber and Lyft are going to have to do some things to make it safer for their drivers. Maybe Face ID verification. Okay? Face ID verification. I think that would be a step in the right direction, or something. These guys need something, man. And these Uber and Lyft, they're leaving these guys out to dry. Okay? Remember... And it's not just guys, it's women too. Like, remember the video that I did about the woman in Norcross? She was trying to get, extra money to buy some more Christmas gifts and do some Christmas shopping. And she was jacked by 2 female super gremlins. And, a brother, he's going, one time, coincidence, I'm going to keep driving Lyft. That woman was scared to death. She had to cut off a whole nother stream of income. And you know how hard it is for these single moms. She had to cut off a whole nother stream of income. Demon time.
I had to shoot the guy. I was shaking up at first. And the police calmed me down a lot, and they made me feel real comfortable. Stay in school. Don't play with guns. Don't rob people. Work for what you want.
I agree exactly what he's saying. Maybe he was a guy who got in some trouble earlier. Maybe he's a reformed super gremlin. Who knows? But he's doing the right thing. He ended up shooting a guy to protect himself. And these Uber drivers, they're fighting back. These Lyft drivers, they're fighting back. So shout out to you guys, man.
And police tell us the car owner you just heard from there fired at least 5 shots in total just before midnight out there along North 17th and Folsom Street, where we are here in Fairmount. We're being told the 18-year-old suspect who that victim shot showed up at the hospital and admitted to being shot there at the scene. So the second incident, an attempt.
He started hurting. Them bullets, when it start aching, boy, he couldn't stomach. He had to go straight to the hospital. Hey, man. Hopefully he learns his lesson. Hopefully he turns it around. But you know how the saying goes, man. Once you a super gremlin, you always a super gremlin.
Attempted carjacking. It happened in West Kensington around 11:15 in the parking lot of a Rite Aid store on the 200 block of West Lehigh Avenue. Police say as the victim was driving away, 4 suspects approached with a gun and demanded the car. Well, we're told the victim showed a weapon and ran away, but the suspects still shot him, hitting him in the foot. The suspects
There's a lot going on with this one. If you draw a weapon on a super gremlin, you better be ready to use it. You can't just draw the weapon and run away. That was a mistake.
approached with a gun and demanded the car. Well, we're told the victim showed a weapon and ran away, but the suspects still shot him, hitting him in the foot. The suspects then left the scene without taking the vehicle. So there was another carjacking shortly before that at 11 o'clock last night that ended.
It's so much going on in these clips. They're bouncing from story to story, and, you know, it's good because it's showing you what's going on in Philly and the volume of which these crimes are taking place. But think about that. They went, robbed somebody, shot somebody, and got nothing. They didn't even take the car.
Still shot him, hitting him in the foot. The suspects then left the scene without taking the vehicle. So there was another carjacking shortly before that at 11 o'clock last night that ended in a crash. It ended in that crash at North 6th and West Cambria Streets in North Philadelphia. Police say multiple suspects stole a Nissan Rogue from someone before crashing it into 3 parked vehicles and then they left the scene. So investigators are checking surveillance video in that area right now for.
Again, another carjacking, you get nothing out of it, and you crash 4 people's cars.
For more clues. In the meantime, though, when it comes to the possibility of these 3 incidents maybe being connected, investigators say they're treating them as 3 separate incidents, and then from there they will put the clues together to determine any possible connections. For now, reporting live here in Fairmount, Corey Davis, Channel 6 Action News.
Gang violence.